Welcome back, family, to the Back Issue
Yes!
Book Club. Episode number 3. My name is Greg. That's Rich. Rich, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing today, sir?
That was great. I'm doing fantastic. This week, we've got Stray Dogs, and that's the original 5-issue series, not including Stray Dog Days. This was suggested to us on YouTube, and then it was part of the poll that we put on our Patreon, patreon.com/Gina Mohana. And it was voted for, and it became the next episode. So if you want to influence the direction of our show, leave your comments on YouTube for suggestions. And if you want to actually vote on it and decide which becomes the next episode, head on over to our Patreon and you can do just that.
Yes.
So yes, Image Comics, Stray Dogs, 5 issues by Tony Fleecs and Trish Forstner.
Yep.
Now, I've told you guys once, I've told you 2 times. Early 2021 is when I first started getting into comic books in general. So Stray Dogs is kind of an interesting place. Not interesting. It's a special place, I guess, for me. It's the first comic book that I noticed ballooning in price. And of course, that was, part of 2021 was like the really exorbitant bubble of comic pricing and stuff. So I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
But it was the first cover that I was like, people, it's $4.99. Why are people like paying $100 for a copy? And what are these like plastic cases with numbers on them? 9.8. What? So that was my introduction to comic speculation and preservation and all of that. So
and admiration.
The 3: speculation, inflation, and admiration. Is that what it was?
I don't remember anymore, but it's just part of the comic nation.
There you go. Comic Nation. Hashtag Comic Nation. Rich.
Yo.
What about Stray Dogs? I know you haven't read it. Did you think anything of it prior to reading it? Like, did you know at all anything about it? I knew what
the storyline was about. I did. Okay. And because I heard so many people talking about it, I knew that the way it was drawn, which was very Disney-ish, that a lot of people were getting in trouble because their kids were reading this.
Oh.
Yeah, and I was hearing a lot of people like their wives were yelling at them, or like they'd have the book and their nephews and nieces would come over, or their grandkids, and next thing you know, they're having nightmares.
Oh no, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, well, you got kids, you better think about where you're going to keep these books. But
behind plastic, in a tomb, in a plastic coffin, as the haters say.
But I mean, and in my head, I'm thinking about what the storyline was. I couldn't understand how a kid could start reading it and not go, and throw it away, But after reading it, I could see how it keeps a kid's attention.
Oh, man. Right? Well, maybe I'm a kid because it kept my attention, but it is like white knuckle pretty much the whole time,
Yeah, and it really does. I mean, if you're a dog owner or you're a dog lover, you really do notice those things that are written in there that dogs really do. They do. Yes, they do.
Very much so.
Pick it up all the time in the backyard.
Especially your Great Dane. How big is the Great Dane do?
Believe it or not, the smallest dog has the biggest poop.
I don't believe it, but you said believe it or not. So
her poops are bigger than my poops. And I'm like, if I'm 8 times your weight. If I multiplied that by 8, it would be bigger than you. How is this? I don't get it.
Wow.
So,
but you pick up on the little cues and stuff you were saying.
Yeah, and it also, what I really like about this? You ever see the videos of like people that haven't seen their dogs in several years, or they come back from like Afghanistan, because they're in the military, and a dog meets them at the airport, and they walk up tentatively. And all of a sudden they freak out like, oh my God, there's something clicked.
Yeah.
You saw that in the comic book.
Absolutely.
It had like, I don't know. And all of a sudden, like it illuminates that portion of the dog's brain where they're like, oh yeah.
Yep. There were, I think, 3 or 4 times where a dog will sniff an article of clothing or just something, and They did a great job of I almost said it's animation. It's the drawing of it is like you can almost see it go like like wide pan,
Yeah, yeah,
and the dog's like, oh my god, I remember.
yeah. I mean, I think this would make a great movie or little, like TV show for a couple episodes or something. I think it would be really good.
I mean, it's right there for laid out already in the style and everything. I mean, the script is there. Like, but we've been. I think this book did a really good job of not over texting. What am I saying? Too many words. Not. I think it did a good job of not having too many words and letting us cruise along and fill in. It'll show a textless panel and it'll be like, oh shit.
It didn't give you a 1982 Wolverine.
Yes. I don't want to keep harping on that book specifically because
no,
they all did that.
But it's a really good frame of reference. So
it is. It is. Yeah, that's true. Early, like an early Copper Age versus the more modern stuff. But it allows you to, especially in like these kind of books, like it worked really well for Green Arrow last week, but for like a book that has like a lot of tension and maybe some hysteria and stuff, at least my mind really like starts to be like, oh, what's next? Popcorn. What's next? And it lets your imagination fly.
But what's also really great about this is because if you look at it from a dog's perspective, which is what this book really is.
Yes.
You've got a room full of dogs, and one of them saying, like, I know this guy. He's the one that killed my master. And the other one's in about, like 2 feet away going, where did I leave the ball?
Right.
I didn't see my ball.
It's very Doug from
yes.
A squirrel.
I can smell you.
Yeah. So it's true. And Tony Fleecs wrote it so well for I gave you the list of dogs and now I'm at a loss for
Sophie, Rusty, Earl,
Sophie.
Rusty.
Yes. Sophie, the little, I guess she was a Pomeranian kind of thing.
Yeah.
I could feel I could feel her being like, listen to me, trust, like I could feel that.
And what's funny? We had character growth in a dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a dog that's so nervous, won't go anywhere, won't walk around in a dog park, pees in a different environment, and at the end, she's the one like taking charge.
Right. And it really helped that Rusty.
Yeah.
Rusty was such a good dude. At one point he was like he put his neck out on the line for her. And he got punished for her, and he was also like you said, he lied. He was like in the middle of a big group confrontation. He said, "No, I believe her." Or, I remember
myself. Yeah.
And then they talked afterwards, and he was like, "I didn't remember, but I believe you." So that was really.
I tell you, the one that was like first off, I like this book series a lot, but as I'm reading it, just enough silliness of dogs for me not to take it seriously.
Okay.
It's not tension for me. It's not high tension. I'm like, yes, this is happening. I understand this is happening. Squirrel, ball, goofiness, and it's the tension is. I guess it was eating at me, and I didn't even realize it. And I got to the fifth book, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm thinking to myself, this is a cute little series. Yeah, this is a cute series. And it gets to the fifth book, and I'm reading. I'm like, da 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 da. And then Earl realizes why he likes treats so much, and he remembers that here, eat some treats. And he was so busy gobbling down the treats, he didn't even pay attention to his master getting killed. And then all the dogs were in a panic, and I'm starting to look like, oh my god, it like crept up on me. And I'm thinking, when did I start caring about these fucking dogs? Oh my god, I'm so worried about them now.
Man, and so after we learn about that, we're basically having flashbacks from Earl when he was a pup.
Yeah.
And he was the one that he went and like scratched on the master's door to let him know that the other dogs were
door and turned him in.
He basically ratted him out. Yeah.
911.
Yep, exactly.
It got Victor killed.
Yes. Poor Victor. He took him out back and boom. And then and after we see Earl's flashbacks of being a pup, the punishment door is creaked open, and they all go. Sophie looks in, and she's like,
Run.
"Run! Don't look in there. Run!" And they're all like, "Well, I gotta look now."
I know, yeah.
And then there's this like beautifully drawn, like cockeyed scene, and the camera is like right behind the pelt of poor Victor
Yep.
hanging from the ceiling. And then there's just a panel at the bottom with Rusty that just says "run."
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god, this is intense.
And then when Earl, though, when he had the run mentality, like, we got no place to go. No, I didn't say you. And he ran right through the damn window.
Yes, he was
Follow
like,
me.
I don't care. Run through the window. He finally turned that. This book did such a really good job of, like, at least for me, being like, God, I hate Earl. Did you ever see Django Unchained?
Yes.
You remember
Many
how?
times.
Yeah, it's a great movie. You remember how they had Samuel L. Jackson's character was like?
Oh yeah.
That's what I felt like Earl was.
Well, I actually thought Earl was like his first dog. He was the original dog that when it was just him and the master before he started killing people and brought all these other dogs home. So he had like this little jealousy. Like it used to be just me and him. But then when they had the flashbacks, it showed that when he opened his eyes, he saw a bunch of other dogs.
Completely different.
Yeah, which are now all their heads are in the closet.
Yes.
I'm like, first off, how this Earl's got to be at least 10 years old. How long's this guy been killing people?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. But he finally turned the page when he saw that closet of heads.
Yeah. And realized that he let down his original owner, all his friends that were there for him, all his friends that are downstairs for him right now. He's been on the wrong side all this time. And how many of those heads are on the wall that didn't, his friends, his original friends, heads in the closet? How many are in there because he didn't do something or because he was, I want treats? His original owner dead because I want treats. He felt immeasurable guilt and self-loathing, and it's like I couldn't be mad at Earl anymore because no matter how mad I was at him, he was madder at himself.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Is like, for us as the viewer and reader, it's like, oh, well, I understand now.
Yeah.
Then he promptly is like you said, get out. Broke through the window, and they were like, the cars are here. It was like a highway, and they can't go across. So Earl was like, it shows one panel where Earl has like a tear in his eye, and he's like, well, time has come.
Yep.
I know what to do. And that I guess he feels like that was his atonement, for all those transgressions that he felt he had in the past. So it was kind of good writing. I'll put it that way, because it wasn't beautiful because poor guy, passed away, but
it was real. I mean,
yeah,
as far as real as a comic book dog could be, but it was real that you.
It's if you took the word dog out of our conversation here, it would be just like a crazy story. It's amazing that we're talking so intensely about these Don Bluth animated Disney dogs.
Don Bluth. There you go. That is all dogs go to heaven kind of look to him.
Yeah.
The greatest stories are the ones where good does win, but not without consequence. Okay, if you make something where good will triumph, no problem. No, that's why I always loved Empire Strikes Back, because sometimes good doesn't win.
Yeah.
And in this one, yes, the guy, I don't know whether he just collapsed or he did die, he bled out. Please, I hope he bled out. But some of the you got Roxanne was shot.
Yeah.
Earl died. Victor was filleted.
Yeah.
Some of these dogs are all going to. Well, they're all. I can't say they were traumatized because Sophie and Rusty met up later on in a dog park, and they're like, "Hey, pleased to meet you.
I feel like I know you, but whatever."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm glad they didn't have a flash. I think it would have been They both look so happy at that time. I didn't want them to have a sniff and remember when we had to fight for our lives?
Yeah, yeah.
That's
It's
a
kind of
memory
nice
that
that
they don't need back.
it's kind of nice that they have that bliss available to them. And in this case, the poor memory is useful, unlike previously.
Yeah. But as
Oh,
far as short 5 parts series, um, it's a short story arc. And honestly, I can say that to this point in my life, this is the best story arc I've read
in general,
in
of
general,
comic books.
all comics in history that I've been reading.
Wow.
I loved this storyline. I
All
really
right.
did. I love the way it was drawn. I love the way it was written, and the way that it sucked me in, and I didn't even realize I was being sucked in.
That's a great hallmark of a good comic or a good story in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I it's up there for me. I mean, I I had read it, I don't know, a half year ago. Um so I didn't forget it all, but I definitely forgot most of the details. So it kind of hit me again as I was, especially books 3, 4, and 5.
Hmm.
And it was just like it was such a really good roller coaster.
Yeah.
You know, there was like, oh, what's going to happen? And then, oh my God, no. And then, oh my God, what? You know, it's just it's different sets of that.
Oh, I
And
got to see if I can pick this up on. Good. Sorry.
no, you're good. Go ahead. You got to pick it up.
I got to pick up. See if I can get the copy of the graphic novel, or like all 5 issues put into one for
Yeah.
not too expensive a price, because I want to pick up a few copies of it and give them out as Christmas presents. So,
Oh, wow. Okay. You know, people that would like them.
well, Mrs. Ohana, I'd like her to read it.
So does this get a 10 out of 10 from you?
I'll give it a 9.
Whoa, we were close.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 9 because this is the back issue book club, and I'm sure that people are going to be recommending a lot of stories, and I've got to leave an area for something that may beat it.
That's fair.
And
Yeah.
I mean, what if something does hit me even better? What do I do then? 10.1? This isn't PGX. So why don't we just say it's a CGC 9.8?
It's a CGC 9.8. I'm there with you. It's such
I
a
can't
blast.
find a flaw in it, but you need something a little extra special to make
There
it
you go.
even more mint.
Yes, I mean it's a real special series. I thought it was great art, drawing, coloring, writing, pace, just across the board. 9.8.
Yes.
For me.
Hey, what are we looking at for our next back issue book club?
I'm glad you brought that up. We got
I brought it up.
We got a suggestion on YouTube, and we put it on our poll with some other suggestions, and it was voted to be Kingdom Come, the 4-part DC Elseworlds story arc
Okay.
from 1996.
Okay, we're
And
getting a little bit more recent than the last DC.
yes.
Okay.
This came to us as a suggestion from Hector Ortiz, from our frequent live stream guest. So thank you, sir.
Yes.
This is a 4-part series, and it's drawn by Alex Ross, who does all those like super hyper realistic covers. But it'll be cool to see him do some DC stuff. I'm curious to see his takes on those. I've only really seen the Batman cover that he did recently.
What comic book is this in?
It's just a 4-part issue.
Oh, okay. So it's not
Miniseries.
not
Sorry.
like a story arc in Superman or something like that. It's okay.
Nope.
What characters does it contain, or I got to find out out when I read it?
I haven't read it, but it looks like a vast majority of the DC lineup.
Okay.
But it's
cool.
Let's see, 4-issue miniseries, 1996, under their Elseworlds imprint. Mark Waid was the author, and Alex Ross is the
artist.
Yeah.
Cover art or interior art as well?
Everything. Yeah, cover and interior.
Back in the days when they actually drew more than one thing and got paid and walk away. Got it. Cool.
Yeah. I'm excited. I don't know. I've never heard of this. I have never seen this. I'm curious. We've got Superman and Shazam punching each other on the cover here of #1. So
sounds good.
I'm excited. Before we wrap up, we got our 2 exclusives coming out
very soon.
Yes. You got about a little over 2 weeks for our first one, Radiant Pink #1. It's our Team Ohana and Syndicate Comics exclusives, and it's been done by the great Deegan Pecoris.
Yes.
I'll put it up here. And then a week after that, we have the
Nightclub.
Oh, my man. Nightclub #1, also by Deegan Pecoris. And we'll put it right. Why don't you hold a hand out, Rich, towards the middle? Here. Oh, yeah. That's beautiful. All right. And now drop it. Beautiful.
Like it's hot. So
it is hot. They're both hot covers, let me tell you.
By the way, yeah, just jumping real quick. I did see that video that you did, the CGC. I loved your audio over. And next book, Nightclub.
I left in the night even. It was just Nightclub.
Because I can't seem to get that in my head.
It's all good.
You realize that every time I say it correctly, Greg's got to give me a dog biscuit. You know, good boy, good boy.
We got to have Deegan do a remark on it, and his remark just be the word club on top of, or no, gang on top of club for you, for your copy. But yeah, you can get that at syndicatecomicsshop.com.
Syndicate Shop.
And you can get any kind of bundles you want, sketches, remarks, signatures, A, B, incentives. It's all there. It's all for you to purchase. And it's all starting at a very reasonable, I feel like, $15 for the exclusive.
And if you get the signed or the remark on the exclusive books, we have custom-made COAs for each of these books. It's not just a generic one. Deegan has actually custom designed these COAs to match the books. So we're trying to go all out, and understanding that everybody else is charging $20, $25, $30 for their exclusives. We're keeping the prices down because we're just that cool.
Well, I mean, it's also, like you said before, you know, this Nightclub is coming out at $1.99. That's Mark Millar's push to make it $1.99. So we want to join in the push as well. Yeah.
And look, I'd love to see all comics drop in price and, you know, become more affordable and get more people back into the hobby. But, you know, Mark Millar, bear in mind, I'm really looking forward to this, but he's not worried about making a profit. He just sold the rights to his books for $150 million.
Yeah. So
if I sold the books for something for $150 million, believe me, I would buy all 500 copies of our exclusives and just give them away. What the heck? Well, I wouldn't give away all 500. I'd have to keep a couple for ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
but yeah, so check us out on YouTube at Team Ohana, at Team Ohana Family on Instagram, and patreon.com/Team Ohana if you want some backroom behind the scenes videos of editing, and this podcast will be out there a day early, unedited watch-alongs for our reaction videos and polls and all kinds of other fun stuff.
And it's just a really great way of actually even just helping someone here. So I think that's about it, sir.
I think so too. Thank you guys for listening and or watching. And we will see you guys on the next one. Mahalo.